The tablet glowed brighter than the kitchen light, and the aliens' eyes practically bulged out of their face. "I have discovered it!" they shouted, waving a romaine leaf like it was a sacred scepter. I froze mid-sip of coffee, staring at the spectacle. "Discovered what? Another one of your cosmic apps?" I asked, already regretting the question. "No! This is the pinnacle of human understanding," they said, their tentacles flailing. "A manual for human reproduction. Step 1: present greens. Step 2: synchronize energies. Step 3: achieve fertility." I choked on my coffee. "Wait, are you serious? You're going to, what now? Wave a salad at me?" "Precisely. It is ritualistic. It must be literal. The humans wrote it with symbolism that I now fully comprehend." They began setting bowls of lettuce in a perfect semicircle on the floor, humming a melody that sounded suspiciously like a dying kazoo. I pinched the bridge of my nose. "You know this isn't some intergalactic board game, right? It's, actual human intimacy. Not vegetable worship." "Nonsense! Symbolism is literal. Energy must flow from romaine to human. Observe!" They bowed dramatically and waved the salad toward me. A single leaf flicked into my coffee cup. I gagged, but they didn't notice, too absorbed in their notes. They had already started drawing diagrams on every surface: walls, windows, even the fridge. Curved lines connecting leafy greens to my face. "The energy transfer is crucial," they muttered, scribbling frantically. I glanced at a neighbor peeking in from the balcony and groaned. "You're going to get arrested for indecent salad worship," I whispered. Ignoring me, they lined up candles, crystals, and a mysterious electronic device that looked like a cross between a blender and a disco ball. "This will amplify human pheromones," they explained seriously. I raised an eyebrow. "Pheromones? Or your cooking experiments?" "Both," they replied. "All human reproduction is a symphony of sense, light, and leaf-based rituals. Observe my calculations. Tonight I will perform the first human breeding ritual of my species." I sank onto the couch, mentally preparing for what I feared would be either a disaster or a viral horror clip. "Human breeding, are we even supposed to do it now? Because waving romaine isn't." "You underestimate my precision," they interrupted, rolling their eyes so hard I thought they'd fall out. "I've synchronized planetary alignments. Mercury is almost exactly at the fertility angle." I blinked. "You're serious? You're planning your first attempt based on Mercury?" "Yes. Astrology is scientifically significant," they shouted, pointing at a globe that had random constellation stickers plastered all over it. "I've calculated optimal times for energy exchange, leaf presentation, and human cohabitation rituals." I groaned, rubbing my temples. "Cohabitation rituals? You mean like sex?" Yes. But in the most ceremonial way imaginable. Tonight, I shall combine salad, light, and human essence to unlock the ultimate fertility spectrum." They held up a leaf triumphantly. "You are my first subject." I stared at the floating salad leaf in horror. "Subject? I'm your roommate, not a science experiment. Details. Human reproduction is an art. And tonight I shall master it. Prepare yourself." As they began chanting, I realized that the next 12 hours of my life would likely involve ritualistic chants, salad sacrifices, and me somehow being tangled in candles and crystals. The absurdity was overwhelming, but deep down, I couldn't stop laughing at the sheer seriousness with which they treated the whole thing. By the time they finally sat down, exhausted but beaming, the living room looked like a fertility-themed disaster zone. I muttered, "I'm going to regret agreeing to live with you." "No regret exists in the pursuit of reproductive perfection," they replied, eyes glinting with determination, holding another romaine leaf like a sword. "Tonight humanity shall witness the first true human breeding experiment." I sighed. Somehow, I had a feeling I was going to survive, but just barely, and with a lot more salad than I ever wanted in my life. By evening, the apartment had transformed into something between a fertility lab and a cheap haunted house. Candles flickered, crystals shimmered, and mysterious gadgets hummed ominously. The alien was on the floor, carefully arranging salad leaves into concentric circles while muttering about energy flow and alignment angles. I leaned against the wall, arms crossed, trying to decide whether to laugh or cry. "Do you really need all of these things?" I asked, eyeing the kale, arugula, candles, and the bizarre contraption that looked like a vacuum cleaner with blinking lights. "Absolutely. Each element amplifies the human reproductive field," they replied without looking up. "The salad provides nutrients and symbolic fertility, the crystals channel cosmic energy, and the pheromone diffuser," they pointed to a small machine emitting a strange mist, "ensures optimal attraction." I squinted. Attraction or suffocation? Because I'm not sure which one it's doing. Details. Humans exaggerate the difficulty of reproduction. With my methods, tonight will be legendary. They bowed dramatically, knocking over a small bowl of lettuce, which slid across the floor and landed in my shoe. I shook it out, muttering, "Legendary, huh? More like catastrophic." The alien pulled out a notebook full of diagrams, circles, arrows, and alarming annotations like, "Human must inhale aroma of kale 3 times," and "Energy must synchronize with heartbeat at precisely 3.7 bpm. "Okay, I have to ask," I said, trying not to sound horrified. "How exactly are we supposed to, do the adult thing, in all this chaos?" "The adult thing is structured. It requires coordination, ritual chanting, and salad presentation. And timing," they said solemnly, adjusting a crystal. "Do you have your lute? I mean, your human vocalizations ready?" I groaned. "Lute? Vocalizations? Are you seriously treating this like a courtly dance from the Renaissance?" "Yes. Courtly dance of procreation. Efficiency and elegance are key." They tried demonstrating a fertility bow, which ended with them face first in a bowl of romaine. I snorted, covering my mouth. "Maybe start with basic steps," I suggested. "Less falling into vegetables, more breathing and consent. Consent is implicit in ritual compliance," they said, scribbling notes furiously. "Humans are expected to follow the sacred guide. And tonight you will experience the first true human breeding ceremony." I pinched my nose. "Experience, huh? So I'm the guinea pig in your salad circus?" "Yes." They clapped, sending a nearby candle tumbling. "And you must maintain alignment with my energy. Observe." They proceeded to do synchronized breathing, waving salad leaves, and chanting something that sounded suspiciously like a mix of Latin and bad karaoke. I tried following along, taking deep breaths and pretending I understood, but tripped over a crystal. The alien tooted. "Precision, human! The cosmos is watching." I looked at the glowing mist from the diffuser and coughed. "The only thing watching is me suffocating." Undeterred, the alien adjusted their position, now balancing on one leg while holding a leaf overhead. "This posture enhances reproductive potential. And the salad must touch your hand at exactly the apex of your heart rate peak." I muttered. "Heart rate peak? You mean panic attack peak, right?" They didn't hear me. They were too busy instructing me on the precise angle to inhale the aroma of arugula, reminding me to recite the chant perfectly, and ensuring that Mercury's alignment was still correct for maximum fertility. By the end of the evening, I was tangled in a mess of candles, crystals, and lettuce while the aliens scribbled notes, muttering things like, "Slight misalignment reduces probability by 0.07%. I groaned. "Next time, can we just, skip the theatrics and maybe cuddle?" They stared at me, horrified. "Cuddle? That is the least efficient path to procreation." I rolled my eyes and flopped onto the couch, covered in salad leaves. "I feel like I've been initiated into some dark, leafy cult." "Yes. Human breeding is a sacred art," they said, brushing crumbs off their robes. "And tonight is just the beginning. Tomorrow, we will perfect the energy transference, and perhaps add spinach. I groaned again. Somehow, I was both terrified and oddly excited about surviving the first night of my alien roommate's fertility experiments. And I had a feeling the worst was still to come. The night had arrived, and the apartment was a chaotic shrine to human fertility, or whatever the alien thought it was. Candles flickered dangerously close to piles of lettuce, crystals sparkled like confused stars, and the pheromone diffuser hissed like a broken steam engine. The alien stood in the center, chest puffed out, holding a romaine leaf like a ceremonial dagger. "Tonight," they announced, voice echoing with solemn grandeur, "we shall achieve optimal human reproduction." I rubbed my temples. "Or we'll achieve a fire hazard and severe salad contamination. Details are irrelevant." They began the ritual, spreading lettuce leaves across the floor, instructing me to step exactly on certain spots to synchronize energy channels. I obeyed, wobbling precariously on one foot while they waved leaves like conductors of a cosmic orchestra. "Breathe in deeply," the alien commanded. "Now exhale at precisely 42% of your lung capacity while imagining the transfer of fertility essence." I choked on a laugh. "You mean I should just think sexy thoughts while holding kale?" "Incorrect. It must be literal and precise," they replied, jabbing a tentacle at a diagram showing an arrow from lettuce to my groin. "Human essence must merge with salad energy." I stared. "Merge with salad energy?" "Yes. And the chanting is critical." They began a low, hypnotic hum that sounded suspiciously like a broken vacuum. I tried joining in, which resulted in coughing fits and a faintly obscene series of wheezes. The alien scribbled notes furiously. "Your cadence is suboptimal." Next came the positioning phase. They directed me to lie down on a blanket of arugula while they balanced a crystal on their head and attempted an awkward, interpretive reproduction pose. "Alignment is everything. Your hands must touch the lettuce at the exact apex of the energy surge." I groaned. "Energy surge? You mean panic surge?" Ignoring me, they began sprinkling tiny droplets of oil across the floor, muttering, "Pheromones must mingle with ambient energy vectors." I slipped, crashing into a pile of kale, sending leaves and candles flying. The diffuser let out a shrill whistle. My groan was lost under their triumphant exclamation. "Excellent! Minor chaos is expected in the early trial phase." As if things weren't chaotic enough, the neighbor leaned in from the balcony, eyes wide. "Is everything okay in there?" "Yes," the alien shouted. "We are pioneering human reproduction." The neighbor muttered something about calling the authorities and disappeared. I rolled my eyes and tried to get untangled from the kale, but the alien was already orchestrating the next step. "The chant must crescendo. Repeat after me, leaf and essence, merge in harmony." I repeated it, my voice cracking. "Leaf and essence, merge in harmony." "Incorrect. You faltered on the essence syllable," they barked, waving a leaf dangerously close to my face. I ducked. Then came the final phase, the so-called fertility transference. The alien leaned over me, hands delicately brushing lettuce onto my chest while murmuring something about energy alignment and planetary auspices. I tried to protest, but the absurdity of the situation had me laughing so hard I could barely breathe. "Remember," they whispered, eyes gleaming, "every touch is a sacred act. Do not squander the energy." I groaned and swatted a leaf away. "Sacred or not, I think we're about 5 steps away from a salad-based catastrophe." Finally, they flopped beside me, exhausted but smiling. Candles were out, salad leaves were scattered everywhere, and the diffuser hissed ominously. "This is only the beginning," they panted. "Human reproduction is complex, but tonight, we achieved significant progress." I stared at them, covered in kale, olive oil, and candle wax. "Progress?" I croaked. "I think we achieved a minor apocalypse and some very confused neighborly concern." "Yes," they said, proudly lifting a leaf. "But the essence is now partially transferred. Tomorrow, we will refine the technique, perhaps add spinach." I groaned, lying back and closing my eyes. Somehow, surviving the alien's first human breeding attempt felt like a small miracle. And yet, deep down, I couldn't help but wonder what absurd chaos tomorrow's refinement would bring. Morning arrived, and the apartment looked like the aftermath of a salad-themed tornado. Candles had melted into the carpet, olive oil slicked the floor, and wilted lettuce crunched underfoot as I cautiously stepped over it. The alien was sitting cross-legged in the middle of the chaos, eyes wide with pride, holding a particularly limp romaine leaf like a trophy. "Did we succeed?" I asked cautiously, still covered in remnants of last night's experiment. "Partially," they exclaimed. "The transference occurred, but energy vectors require further refinement. Also, I miscalculated planetary alignment by 0.03%. I blinked. "You miscalculated Mercury by 0.03%, and that matters?" "Every fraction matters," they said, gesturing wildly. "Even humans underestimate the precision needed for optimal breeding. You must learn to synchronize fully with my energy field." I groaned, flopping back onto the couch. "Synchronize with your energy field?" "Last night, I synchronized with Kale and a faint sense of impending doom." "Is that acceptable?" "Partially," they replied, scribbling in their notebook. "Next time, we add spinach to increase vibrational harmony. Perhaps even a light sprinkling of nuts for texture-enhanced fertility. Textural variety improves energy reception." I coughed. "Nuts? For fertility, or to make the ritual taste slightly better?" "Both. Efficiency is key," they said, hopping up and attempting to balance on one leg while waving a drooping leaf above their head. I sighed, already anticipating another round of chaotic rituals. "Listen," I said, "maybe we should slow down. Human reproduction doesn't require a salad altar, crystals, or chanting at 3 a.m. We could, do it more normally." "Normal is inefficient," they countered, staring at me like I had suggested we replace oxygen with soda. "Humans are designed for precision. And ritual enhances probability." "Probability?" I rubbed my forehead. "Fine. But maybe we don't need pheromone diffusers spraying hallucinogenic mist over the neighbors, okay?" They looked horrified. "Hallucinogenic mist? That is part of the sacred energy. Humans must experience heightened awareness to properly align the reproductive spectrum." I gave up and sat back. For someone obsessed with human breeding, you're making it extremely complicated and slightly terrifying." They tilted their head, considering. "Complicated, yes. But thrilling. Last night was a success in terms of chaos calibration, human reaction, and partial energy transference." I groaned again. "Partial energy transference? That sounds like you didn't actually, do it." "Details. The first trial always yields incremental results," they said, brushing salad crumbs from their robes. "Tomorrow, we add the spinach. And perhaps chanting while dancing in circles. Efficiency multiplies exponentially with movement." I buried my face in my hands. "I feel like I've signed up for a lifetime of ritualistic salad worship and awkward chants." "Indeed. And as your roommate, I promise further guidance," they said, eyes gleaming with unshakable determination. "Human reproduction will be perfected under my supervision." Despite the chaos, I couldn't help but laugh. The alien's sheer enthusiasm, misguided as it was, had a strange charm. "All right," I said, peeling lettuce from my hair. "I guess I'll survive, for now. But next time, we negotiate the kale-to-spa ratio before you start waving leaves around." "Yes. Negotiation is an advanced step," they agreed. "Humans require boundaries, which must be observed alongside fertility rituals. Harmony and efficiency are paramount." I chuckled, finally letting myself relax. Covered in salad, candles, and half-burned wax, I realized the absurdity of it all. My alien roommate was hopelessly clumsy, dangerously literal, and utterly committed to human breeding. And somehow, that made living with them endlessly entertaining. As the alien carefully examined the limp romaine leaf, mumbling about energy residue and alignment efficiency, I leaned back and muttered, "Well, at least we survived the first trial, mostly intact." "Barely." They looked up, eyes sparkling. "Next time, we will perfect it. Spinach, chanting, and perhaps some nuts." I groaned, already bracing for the chaos, but deep down, I knew the adventure had only just begun.